Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Real Football Talk. I have Adil with me, and we'll be discussing another brilliant Premier League weekend and what went with all the teams. Also, be discussing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finally saying his farewell to the theatre of the dreams, and get Adil's thoughts on who might be the next manager and why he made of the decision. Adil, let's start there. What did you make of the sacking? Is it a long time coming?
Yeah, the writing's been on the wall for a long time, and now I think a lot of the pressure will be on the board and some of their decision making because there's so much they're accountable for. I mean, when you think about it, they gave Oli a three-year extension this summer, I think, or just start at the beginning of the season. What are they watching? Even though the results and there was some progress being made, everyone could see from the game. Every pundit, everyone we've been talking about for a long time. You can see it's not a team that has a structure on and off the ball.
Not every.
Now that De Gea's let the rabbit out of the hat officially, I mean, you just have to watch the matches to be able to tell. So you just think, what is the process behind the decisions they're making at boardroom level? What was Woodward seeing that was different from what everyone else can see? And that's the problem with the Manchester United DNA. They keep saying the DNA. That's the problem with it. You got too many guys that think they got Manchester United DNA in the boardroom or around the, you got Dan Fletcher, technical director, you got Carrick on there, you got Mike. All of them are basically, Alex Ferguson, acolyte. They're all, they're all conflicted. They all are biased. They all are friends. How are you ever gonna get a good sound judgment from them? You're not.
Well,
and you see it even in the punditry.
Well, that's what I was telling you.
We're about to allude to.
That's what I was trying to tell you. I mean, you can even look at. You said about all the pundits can look at United's performance. You can tell it, but I mean, clearly Gary Neville is not one of them.
Well, clearly not the Manchester United pundits. Yeah, ex-Manchester United.
I think Keane and I think Scholes have been on his case.
But that was only in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Even before that, they were backing Oli non-stop. And that's the thing, innit? Like, why is the Manchester United DNA backing a friend? That's what it really is saying. Yeah. Back your friend till the end. Well, guess what? The fans don't want that as Manchester United DNA. They want to win. Yeah. They want to see a team competing, closing the gap against some excellent managers and some very strong teams. They don't want to be seen left behind. I mean, you're not gonna watching teams like Tottenham and them, gonna potentially have the potential to take over from United because they're picking the right managers. So yeah, it's a long time coming, but I just don't trust this board.
Let me bring something up to you, because I don't know if you listened to the farewell interview from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because what he said there, even though he's leaving, I don't know, he said about fantastic about 500 times, but he kind of alluded to how he's sorted the backroom staff out, and he's left a real, good structure there, and about, how he's kind of got this team set up for someone to kind of take it on and, win a title. What do you make of that?
And make of that exactly what I used to make out of all of his press conference. A total waste of time to listen to. At the end of the day, that's the standard Oli. He's positive. He's, he always, for him, that's what management and is, just talking positive, being forward thinking, in terms of just attacking and, not not actually tackling any issues within the team. So, that's just exactly what he used to do in every press conference. Just put a positive spin on everything. It's absurd to think that he's done something major in terms of, because you look at the players, every single player under him has hasn't improved. No one's better than they were, before he took over. Then you've got a club where the players call the shots. I mean, it's gone completely the other way from Mourinho. Under Mourinho, it's a toxic environment where he called the shots and he was strict and he upset a lot of the players. He was quite confrontational. And then you've gone to a total opposite, where manager is clearly has let players like Fernandes and Pogba and all of them control the club. They control everything.
What do you make of that Fernandes gesture as Ole was kind of going to clap the flag?
I think that's exactly what Fernandes is. He's fake. That's fake. He's the guy who's you can see he's the one player who presses non-stop and keeps telling everyone to press when they clearly don't want to press. Yeah, so he's the one player you can tell who just doesn't follow any tactical plan that's been given, because he just wants to constantly press. His playing ups, his performances are terrible. So, when he loses the ball, he still whines all day. He doesn't, get back. He's still more interested in getting fouls and trying to influence the referee than actually playing good and creating and scoring. So,
he's trying to get more assists, Adil. He's trying to get more assists so he can cross it in.
Yeah, well, like I said, I just think that's typical. And it's another sign of a player who just thinks he's too big.
But what's next for United? I mean, who next? Because obviously a lot of the media's speaking about Pochettino, but he's not available. He's obviously with PSG. So who next? Obviously, they're talking about saying that they're going to have an interim manager. But yeah, what is really next? Who's going to take over interim at such a big club like United? Or are they going to go with Carrick?
I think they're going to see how it goes with Carrick. But at the end of the day, I've never understood because the thing is, the type of manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is. I don't think he's deciding the tactics or these things that much. I don't think he's saying to his coaches, "Oh, we're not going to have some structure and a system to the way we attack and the way we defend." So, what big difference is Carrick going to bring? He was the first team coach. He was coaching those players to become worse than they were. So, what genius is he going to do tactically all of a sudden that he couldn't do as a first team coach? Or you could see how much Ole used to listen to him and Kieran McKenna, because that's all he used to do, talk to them. So, and he hasn't got an idea on what he's doing. You can see in every press conference. So a lot of what must have been happening, in my opinion, must be the plan of Carrick. So I don't get how that's meant to suddenly resolve the issue, or how he's got of a caliber to give these players the instructions that they clearly wanted. Because there's rumors for a long time about this. Like I said, it's Woodward and the Man United board were literally the only people who weren't watching the matches and just following results, that didn't realize how far back behind this United team was.
Do you think the biggest problem is the board first than anything else? Because obviously, clearly they haven't got the footballing people higher up in the board, and that's why United are in
And,
a situation where they are, because
I
obviously
think
this
it
seems
still is an issue.
this seems like the sacking seems just a bit rushed. They could have done it like during the international week and
But
have 2 weeks to play.
obviously, I've come on. It's not. Oh, they lost 4-1 to Watford. They got completely in that first half. They were completely bullied.
I mean,
It was the
Watford could have
United
had so
players were
many
shut.
goals.
I've never seen a player hide and mark a central midfielder more than I saw McTominay do in that match. He never hid the ball once. He hid. I mean, there was one, United player that had an amazing performance. Guess who that was?
Agreed.
Tom Cleverley, an ex-United academy player.
Oh no, but even on,
he was absolutely bullying everyone.
but even when Van der Beek came on, you could see the potential in the guy, and you know what? Like I was just amazed how he hasn't been used.
And the thing is, he showed the heart and passion.
Yeah.
That
did you see that tackle he made straight away after he came on? Did you see?
But the thing is, he went and tried to put tackles in, but like if you watch the first half, Rashford was effective when he went to the right. He was causing problems. He had the chance. He's running in behind. He's doing something in that match, at least. Certainly, Sancho wasn't doing nothing in the first half.
Yeah.
Fine, second half, he played a lot better. But you've got a team playing with no heart, putting no tackles in, getting completely bullied and overawed by Watford. Why on earth are you going to bring on Anthony Martial? And then you're going to cry when the third and fourth goal happen and he doesn't show the energy. He doesn't want to get on the pitch. He don't want to make a statement. He don't want to earn his place back. He's not bothered.
Yeah. He's done. I think he's done. Martial's done out.
Done. So I think for United, they need to get Zidane, basically. If they don't, they're going to really struggle. Because when you look at the makeup of that squad, probably Zidane is the only manager that will instantly change and get a reaction
because of his
Pogba, Martial.
Yeah, they'll all follow him. Yeah.
If Ronaldo's, he was manager Real Madrid,
so
he'll straight away get the reaction that they want. But if they're already talking about an interim until the end of the season, then clearly Zidane is going to stick to his word where he said he wants to take full season out.
Yeah, maybe they're waiting for Zidane for the summer.
Yeah, or maybe Zidane's just waiting for PSG to move on from Poch.
You're hoping for that, innit?
No, it's not that I'm hoping. I prefer Zidane over Poch.
Okay.
Personally, Zidane's got winning mentality.
Yeah. But is that what's needed, or is what's needed is someone who's going to come in and install an actual idea and philosophy of what to do?
Yeah, but obviously there'll be some system to the way they play. I mean, it's not like Zidane's Real Madrid didn't have a structure.
Mm-hmm.
They did. It just wasn't very exciting. It's just quite simple. Get out wide, get the ball in the box,
get into Ronaldo.
So it was quite simple, his tactics. But at the end of the day, if you can get the players believing in it, then it works.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to the other story. Arsenal getting battered at Anfield. What did you make of that? I mean, the game seemed to change when Arteta thought he was a big man.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, how many times did we say this?
Wrong place.
Last year, we said it so many times about Arteta and the Arsenal and how they focus too much on referees and crowd referees and try and influence referees too much. And I'm glad it happened because, in a way, there's influencing referees, and then there's taking the mick, you know, because fine, he's upset with a challenge from his angle. It might have looked like an elbow, but it wasn't. But then for him to be, you know, turning and waving his fingers and, you know, well, stop acting like a child. You're manager of a club. You got, you know, 50 or 1,000 in a stadium. You got the whole world watching you. You know, I get it. You know, you're trying to influence.
Do you think the emotion? Do you think the emotion took over a bit too much? I think that's what he was. He meant a lot to him. Do you think that's what he was?
No, but he was incensed. But at the end of the day, it's not like he was a defensive midfielder and he didn't put tackles about and he never played dirty. You know, man up. At the end of the day, his team put tackles in as well. His team played dirty as well. You know, to react like that is just too much. You know, fine, influence the referee, but waving your finger and going on and on. I'm glad Klopp reacted. I'm glad Klopp put him in his place. I'm glad they lost control of the game after that because they're playing quite structured and defensive, and then Liverpool just went up a gear. You know, Liverpool started flying into the tackles, winning the ball back higher up.
I mean, the crowd became involved in the game even more.
Yeah, but they realized they're being too tentative, and then you know, whole second half we saw how the Liverpool press and aggression was.
But do you know the thing about second half? I also got in the first half, like a lot of the time they mixed the playing out from the back, etc. But for that first 10-15 minutes, all right, Liverpool's press was great, by the way, in that second half. But if you're seeing that they're really winning the back high up every single time, surely first time, second, after that, just go back to kicking it long.
Yeah, and the thing with that is, you know, everyone goes on about how accurate Ramsey's goal kicks are. And we saw it a couple of weeks ago when he played a ball down the middle, you know. So you've got a keeper who can play accurate balls out, long passes out. So why not use it? But I just say Arsenal. The thing with them is we've been saying they've been winning games. Just being quite structured and solid, and you know, you could tell they're building foundations. So playing against this Liverpool team is just a bit too much for where they're at the moment. And yeah, I think, you know, any team, any of those big three, you know, anyone who's really coming up against Liverpool, City, and Chelsea, you're gonna see the gulf in class and difference because those three are just way ahead.
But yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think them three are just like 2-3 steps above of everyone else that's just below them. And the only one that could probably potentially give them a hiccup is West Ham because of how balanced they are as a team.
No, I don't even think.
But even then, but yeah, you get my point in terms of there's something there West Ham could do, but
nah, let's see. I mean, you know.
Well,
there's so many teams that start a season well and then you know, teams
they done well last season. This season they started well, lost a
lot. Teams will figure them out and then start. You know, then you know they'll have to do something different and they might get caught up. But I wanted to ask you, what did you make of? Because I was surprised no one spoke about it. But do you remember for the second goal, Jota's goal?
Yeah.
The reaction of Partey.
I didn't fully see that because I was too annoyed with
so when that goal
how Tavares passed it back and how easily Jota went through.
Yeah. So when that ball got played back, he's trying to play it to Partey.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so Jota kind of nicked it, and it literally, you know, less than a yard.
Yeah,
less than a yard away, and he turned around and he just stood there. And obviously, Jota makes Gabriel sit down, then makes Ramsey sit down.
But even Ramsdale, I thought he sat down so easily. I was like, Oh
No,
man,
but
he
that's
just
because
gambled. He just
no,
gambled.
but that's how he does his saves. He rushes out,
He just
you know.
gambled.
So that
Yeah.
was just very clever classic. But the thing was, if parties chose to stay engaged, he would have actually stopped that chance. If he would have just used his body and nicked the ball and cleared it. And I couldn't believe no one picked up on it, that this is like a, you know,
Good
how much
point,
did they
yeah.
pay for him? You know, what,
45
35 or
million.
something?
45
45 million player. And he just watched a guy, you know, do that. And with that, he could have easily made a big. So, you know, in terms of, you know, attitude, intensity, character, it says a lot about the team. I think they just got overawed in it.
I think the occasion was too big for them. I think that's what it was. Too young, too naive, and I think that's what it was. And when you got your senior players not leading it, then this is what's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah,
You had 4 players going to Anfield for the first time. Like,
you're really trying your best on it.
I am trying to defend them as much as I can, but this.
Who were those 4? I'm sure they're all pretty much international.
No, not really. Oh well, Smith Rowe just international because he
Right, so yeah, he's an international player, yeah.
Tavares under 21s.
Well,
He got,
yeah.
you know what? He got that second half. He actually got battered. I was actually thinking, why not put Kieran Tierney on? But then I thought to my head, you know what? This game is done and over. You might as well just save him for the next game. It's not. It's not worth kind of like risking it.
That's it. Yeah. they could have stopped playing down that side, and they just kept falling for the trap.
Yeah,
that Liverpool were setting in terms of showing that side, and then suddenly, you know, pressing on Tavares.
But I mean, it's a learning curve. I'm sure they'll learn and become a bit more better than what they are now. Still a long way to go. 6 months in, so long way to go.
Yeah.
In terms of next, let's look at who we're gonna look at. Sorry, Chelsea, Leicester. I mean, Leicester seem to be in a bit of a bother. We know Chelsea very dominant, but Leicester, they just seems like they're really struggling to find the form and find the right balance in their team.
I think with them is that they're going into that mode of trying to make adjustments every game to
combat the opposition.
Yeah, to kind of, because they only seem to play well when they get the setup right, because then they end up pressing the opposition in the right way.
Yeah.
And yeah, first half they were terrible. Second half they actually had a go, and they were playing quite well. You know, building up some pressure, but then, you know,
Chelsea should have had like 5-6.
Yeah, but then the subs came and they scored, and that was it. Knocked the wind out of the sail. So yeah, you know, Leicester's falling into a trap of they don't know who they are. They're constantly changing shape, personnel. You know, they don't know whether to go with Maddison or Barnes. You know, Suma or Thingy. You know, and Didi, they don't know whether it should be Vardy and Nacho, Vardy and Daka. So they're just a team that's really struggling to find their identity right now. And while their defense is looking as poor as it is,
well, James Justin is back. Good news.
Johnny Evans had an absolutely terrible game,
and
he's been playing bad since he's come back from injury. So maybe, you know, he's not fully fit.
James Justin is back for them, so that's a bit of good. But how dangerous are Chelsea? Because we keep talking about this Chelsea side without a striker. Because we done it last year. Even then they dominated, and this year again, just destroying teams.
They're just a machine, in it.
Because like just before Lukaku got injured and stuff, it seemed that they were struggling, even though they had a lethal striker up front. But since he was gone, it seems like they've found this next gear or next rhythm.
I don't know. I just think the gear has come more from the fullbacks, James and Chilwell. They actually, because with Aspilicueta and Alonso, what you get is they'll positionally move up the pitch and they'll overload and overlap and get the ball in. But with Chilwell and James, they'll dribble up the pitch. So what that does is you're not relying on the whole team to get you into those attacking positions because you've got the pace and power just to get there yourself, even by yourself.
Yeah.
So what they do is they're comfortable beating their one man and then dribbling. So that's just an extra, like it's a different level of a threat. But because they're not having to work the ball about to get it to Alonso up the pitch and Aspilicueta up the pitch. They're just giving it to these fullbacks, and the fullbacks just overpowering their man and pushing on.
But like most of their positioning is amazing because like it almost looked like they're playing like inside forwards at times. The amount of time Chilwell got into that zone, or even James, I was just like, wow.
Well, that's the thing. That's that's all these top managers. They're finding different solutions to teams that are dropping deep. So what happened is, so what they did second half. So first half they kept James and Finger as the wide players, and you had Hudson-Odoi and Mount, who's quite quiet anyway, more playing intricate. Linking up, and I thought Havertz, he didn't get mentioned, but he was just really good, like real quality. Anytime, the Leicester defenders tried going in hard on him, the way he'll turn them, and the way he'll take the ball under the press and just turn them, it was just quality.
Yeah, he just seems like gonna be one of those players that's just like does his job without really making too much fuss.
Yeah, he's just silky and just his quality. So I thought he was a big factor in that game in terms of the link up. Even some of the direct balls they played, he nodded them down, chest them. So he done a bit of that physical presence that you'd expect from Lukaku. He did that. But second half, Hudson-Odoi played more like a left winger. So he went out wide. It became instead of 2-10, it became two players playing out wide. Well, certainly on the left-hand side with Hudson-Odoi. But then that's the variation they've made when they're now getting the fullbacks to come central and attack central because you've got the 10s going out wide. So what that does is that spreads the back line because now you got the centre backs who are following, Hudson-Odoi, and then you got Chilwell who's just coming in inside. So these variations are what is making Chelsea more formidable. And
how do teams stop that, Adu, is my question. Man for man marking?
I mean, that's effectively when Leicester started to get a bit of a foothold in that game before the second goal. That's effectively what Leicester did. They kind of went to a man-for-man formation. But the thing is, that's just so high risk, especially when there's pace. And so what Chelsea did, which was clever, they started to play the ball over the top in behind and Hudson-Odoi stretching the play. Yeah. So they're just too clever at the moment, this Chelsea team. They got an answer for anything you try and do.
Thiago
so you just got to be careful.
Yeah.
I mean,
some mad balls.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. They seem like they're developing, and they're finding different answers.
Next, Man City Everton. I mean, again, another dominant performance from City. Everton did look like they were in it for a
Well,
bit in
after
the second
2-0
half.
down,
Yeah, a 2-0 showed a bit
they
of
started
heart,
to
but
play a bit, but
yeah.
City just stamped the authority straight away in that game. From the first 10 minutes, they just stamped the authority, and yeah, I thought was it Cole Palmer? Is it played
Obama.
well? Looks like another quality player, fitting into their system.
Another youngster made the debut, by the way, James McCarthy.
McAtee, it looks good as well. Another lefty as well.
The lefty. They got so many number 10s in their under 23s and under 18s.
Yeah, but even when you look at their midfielders are playing like 10s. You see some of the stuff Cancelo does, you just think, well, he's a playmaker.
True.
You get it. So
you say that if you look at throughout the league this season, like fullbacks have just been on something else. Like you look at Liverpool, Trent, Robertson. You look at Chelsea, you got James Chilwell. You look at Man City, Walker, Cancelo. It's just they've been a different evolution to their game.
That's the current trend.
Yeah.
Until you get a system that
beats it,
counteracts it. At the moment, that's the current trend, which is all the width comes from the fullbacks, and you got the wing. If there is a winger, they're more playing like inside forwards or 10s. And that's how those top teams are dominating the possession. Is because they got so many people playing in the pocket that you can get forward balls into them, and you're splitting that midfield because the midfield can't shield 3 players. If you've got a 10 and 2 wingers coming in, then it's really hard to, for 2 or 3 midfielders to stop them. Plus, put pressure on the midfielders on the ball. So, yeah, that's the trend for the next year or a bit, until someone finds a formation that exposes it. So
Conte's first game in charge, what did you make of him? I mean, at home, when I say that, 2-1 win against Leeds. Leeds looks really dangerous.
That first half they got totally outplayed. Real lackluster performance. And yeah, it was just as bad as, probably worse, even the booze that was going on towards the end of that game. Like every time, first half they played the ball back, they played it back to the keeper. The stadium was booing, and I was like, whoa, these Spurs fans are really impatient.
But I mean, you know what's fascinating is I was listening to Conte's press match conference, and he was very honest in terms of obviously saying that Leeds obviously were running more hungry, more determined, and then obviously he made some tweaks in the second half, and obviously expected his team to press on more and more runs in behind, and that changed the game.
Well, the strange thing is they're saying that, and I was surprised when I saw the stats. But even in that first half, Tottenham ran 0.5k more than the Leeds players. It's more to do with the positivity of it, because what Spurs were doing, they're doing everything from by staying in shape, and yeah, and they were too spread out in the terms of in their formation. So what they did was by bringing in and making it a bit more narrow, they were able to press and stop Leeds playing through the lines. And because what Leeds have done is they've brought Adam Forshaw into the team, so they've now got two pivots dictating the game. Before it was just Phillips. Now they got Forshaw as well. So trying to stop the ball getting into them and them playing it in was difficult for Yeah, Spurs, because they're so busy trying to press out wide. So then once they all came in and they started to press from the central zone, they just started to dominate. And they didn't play great football, but the intensity was there. The whole stadium was just live wire, and really through pressure and intensity, they ended up winning that game. And you see it by the type of goals they scored. They're all like regulars were hungry, to get to that rebound. The other chances they missed. So it's all Højbjerg, come back from the pull back. It's all through more heart and desire and commitment than any fantastic football that they played to split Leeds open. They didn't really do that. It's just through heart and pressure and commitment.
But for now, I think that's what they are going to do anyways.
But that's what Conte does.
Yeah,
like he doesn't really work on how they're going to play straight away, because he all he's interested in is the foundation and the character of the players. So right now that's how Spurs are going to win. Spurs aren't going to win through playing great. They're going to win through mentality, showing their commitment, because that's all Conte is demanding of him at the moment. He's doing their shape work, but he's not really doing so much because he wants to make sure the core foundation, the characteristics, the philosophy of the players and the psychology of players is that they never give in. They work hard. They outrun the opposition. And for Reguilón to say before the game that training was the hardest training he's had in his whole life, says a lot. Conte is putting them through some pre-season program. You get it.
Well,
second half they ran 4K more.
There was a video of Conte talking to Levy, and he was talking about want this physical coach or want this strength coach, this person, and you can tell what he's trying to do in the background.
Yeah, but all of that stuff, makes you mentally stronger.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to spend a lot in the January window? Get rid of a lot of players and bring in?
I think there's buy one player, at least one big name, one player. Mm-hmm. Probably, if you go with what Conte does, and pretty much all the top managers do, they fix their defense first. Another sign why, maybe the ex-United manager wasn't top manager, because he kept trying to get attacking players. But yeah, so I got a feeling Conte is going to go for a centre back.
And he might bring Victor Moses and Ashley Young back.
He might even go for right back or something, I think.
I think Moses, Alonso, and what's his name? Ashley Young might make an appearance.
No, I don't think they're gonna
just messing.
But they might go for a right back, a cheap one. They might end up with a Trippier themselves. I know Conte's a fan of Trippier, so they might go for Trippier. I think they'll go for centre back, and they'll try and clear some players, in it, and Ndombele and them. But I liked what Conte said. He's already putting the onus and the pressure on Ndombele. So it's up to him to utilize his talent and play for the team, not for himself.
Yeah.
So already he's putting the load down on these players.
It's good. It's good. I mean, same would probably say the same for Ali, isn't it? As well, it's for him to win that spot.
Yeah. I mean, Conte is all about the work you're doing off the ball at the moment. So he's insisting on that. You can tell that's what he's gonna. So even the other game, they won 1-0 in the Europa. It wasn't great football.
Europa, they won 3-2.
Yeah, but that was all like character.
Yeah,
just character. They weren't playing, and you could tell all they've been told to do is everyone get behind the ball, and work hard, play hard. But obviously, when you play that deep against a Leeds team that's likes to high press, like you're gonna struggle to get out your half, and that's the problem.
still
in the
ended
first
up
half.
winning the game. So great result for Spurs, really. I mean, quickly touch up on the new managers in the league. Stevie G, 2-0 home win. And then you got Smith at Norwich getting a win as well.
Yeah, I mean, Stevie G just seems like a class appointment, really. And you have to say he's ticked every box. Everything he says is what you'd expect. You know, it's inspiring. It's a textbook.
Textbook pro,
you know, you can already tell players will love playing for him. I mean, the man you want to play for. And then, and he's an upgrade. At the end of the day, there's no way he's an upgrade on Dean Smith. Dean Smith's a good manager, but he spent a lot of money 3 seasons in a row. And I know they've lost Grealish, but they haven't looked great this season. So I just think, I know he's had a lot of injuries. So yeah, he's gone to Norwich. I was surprised by that appointment. At the time, I was thinking, hold on. If you look at Aston Villa's squad and he's struggling with that Aston Villa squad, then what makes you think he's going to do any better with the weaker squad at Norwich? So I was surprised. I was actually surprised, and I'm still surprised. Even though he won, I'm still surprised that Norwich actually went for him, because, he wasn't exactly doing amazing with Aston Villa. He's doing solid, but they spend a lot of money and they've got a lot of good players.
Yeah.
So, how is he going to do? He hasn't shown that he could do it with those players, take the next step. Then how is he going to be able to keep? So let's see. I'm not sure how. I still don't think he's got enough to keep Norwich up.
I don't think Norwich. I mean, and Eddie Howe from the hotel room, 3-0 draw.
Well, from his hotel room, yeah. He might as well been on the sideline, because it was like watching
typical
game. It was like watching Bournemouth again, isn't it? Really good attacking, terrible at defending, roller coaster matches, yo-yo.
Well, reports are saying that during his off time he was at Atletico watching learning of Simeone a bit. So I thought he might have sharpened up on his
project to build. And the club hasn't had investment. It's got a lot of issues, so it's going to take a bit of time. And I think getting someone like Eddie Howe in, who's going to play entertaining football, who's going to attack, who's going to get the crowd. I mean, it was the crowd was buzzing at St. James Park, and they're going to get behind the team and that whole entertainers tag. So I think that's a good fit.
What I was saying is that I do that during his off time. Eddie Howe went off to Atletico Madrid to learn a bit of Simeone. So
I think he visited quite a few people, so it wasn't just
trying to improve the defensive side of his game, isn't it?
Yeah, well, like I said, you got Conte, whose first few games is all about just defensive and showing the commitment.
You broke it off, Adil. I think we've lost Adil there anyways. But thank you everyone for watching, and look forward to seeing you soon. Do like, share, subscribe, and thank you again.